Well, today we're doing it, quick search. So we're going to get on the computer today, we're going to go over quick search. We're not going to be going over all of the different tabs or customization or anything like that, but today we are going to cover all the basic functionality of quick search and how to set up a quick search template. All right, let's get started. Okay, so we are starting off logged into the MLS here. What we're going to do is we're going to go right into quick search. I have quick search saved on my favorites here. But if you go to menu and you go over here to the right hand side and the top of the right hand column in the menu, quick search is the first choice, so you can just click it right there. Once you do that, you're going to be brought to a screen and you're going to see the map on the screen with a box in the middle of it here that is going to show you all of the listings that it's found so far. And the only reason why you're getting this box right now is because you have over 1,000 listings as a result of the search that you've done so far, which you haven't done anything. So right now, all you're seeing is all the active listings that are in Northeast Florida, in this case, that are residential right here, because residential is the type of property it's looking for at this point. So what I want you to do is I want to get you to get used to looking for that number right here in the left-hand side. It will always appear here on the left-hand side. So if I click close over here, you can't see that number, or if you have less than 1,000 results, this box will automatically disappear. You will still be able to use this field right here to always tell you how many results you're getting as you're adding criteria in. That being said, your criteria can be added here on the left-hand side, as you can see here. If I scroll it up and down, this will give me the ability to add criteria such as bedrooms, baths, and things like that, which we're going to go over in a little bit more detail. So first things first, for the searching purposes of this, is we're going to go over here to the left-hand side, and where it says residential here, there's a little arrow right here. If I click on that little arrow, it's going to give me a drop-down which will allow me to access all of the other types of searches that are in here right now. Those aren't the only types of searches that are available, but they are the ones that come with the system if you haven't done any templates thus far. So we're going to stick with residential though, because that's the type of property we're going to search for. In our example here today, we are going to be showing kind of as if we were a buyer looking for some listings, or if I was a real estate agent with a buyer looking for listings. So going down the line here, the very first box that I come to here says MLS, Northeast Florida MLS INC. And there underneath that I can choose all of the different MLSs that we share data with. So we share data with Daytona, Flagler, Hernando, and Space Coast. Going down the line is the location box. So right now, the reason why I'm getting this large number here, this 6,700 number, is because remember I said residential properties in Northeast Florida's MLS that are active. Right here is active listings. So right now I'm getting every listing in the entire footprint of the MLS, or in the entire footprint of Northeast Florida's MLS. So what you're really going to want to do here is you're going to want to narrow that down. And we can do that by the location box here, or we have the choice of drawing on the map. So let's say, for instance, you have somebody that knows where they want to live. They want to live in a specific subdivision, for instance, or they want to live in a certain zip code or a certain area or region of the county or the area that Northeast Florida covers. So let's say that they know where they want to live. They want to live in a subdivision. So let's say that they want to live in Queens Harbor. So I can come in here and type Queens Harbor in, and you will see Queens Harbor comes up as the top hit, and then legal subdivisions show up as Queens Harbor Country Club, Queens Harbor Yacht Club. And let's just say that I wanted Queens Harbor, so I could just double click on Queens Harbor and it's going to give me those results. In this case, there are 5 listings, as you can see right here, 5 listings that are in Northeast Florida that are residential, that are active. So that's how we are adding a subdivision. But let's do one more step. So let's say I'm going to do Queens again, like as if I was looking for Queens Harbor. Let's say that I wanted Queens Harbor Country Club and Queens Harbor Yacht Club. I want all 3 of these, but I don't want to have to click on each one and type it again over and over. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the control key, command key on a Mac, and I'm going to click on Queens Harbor Country Club and Queens Harbor Yacht Club, and then I'm just going to press the enter button. And as you can see, I got both of those results at the same time. I could have done that with more than 2. I just wanted to kind of show you that you can get more results at one time if you don't want to have to go in and type the name differently if it happens to be similar to what you're looking for, if you see it on the list and you'd like more than one. Also, you can click browse over to the right hand side of the location box. If I click on browse, it's just going to open up a list where I can say city, county, state,
area, region, subdivision, and legal subdivision, and then after that is going to be polygons that I have saved. So let's just say, for instance, subdivision. I'm going to get a list of subdivisions, and I can go through this list of subdivisions, and I can click on ones that I want arbitrarily like this. And I am holding down the control button while I'm choosing multiple ones. And then I would just press the enter key to bring all of those into my search. I'm not going to do that because I already have these 3 here as well. Same goes for zip codes. I just started typing in zip codes, and you can see zip codes start populating here. So I can bring in as many different zip codes as I want as well. Let's talk about another way to search, which would be drawing on the map. So another great advantage to quick search. So far we have the advantage of being able to look at other MLSs and also being able to draw on the map. So I'm going to remove these subdivisions here, and let's just say, and see, now I went up over my 1,000 results, so I got this box again. So I'm just going to click close on that box. I'm just going to move the map up a little bit here. And you have 3 different choices of different shapes that you can draw on the map. The first being the circle, and I'm using the circle first simply because it's the easiest. So in order for me to draw the circle on the map, I would just click on the circle, and you can see how now it's highlighted here. And then I would just go to the point where I want the center of the circle to be. And I'm just going to left click one time and let go. You don't want to keep holding the mouse down for this. And once you've left clicked one time, you just draw out the circle to the size you want it to be. Notice the box that tells you exactly how wide this circle is as I pull it in and out. It's a little black box on the radius there. And then once I get the circle to the size I want it to be, I just click it one time, left click one time, and you will see the word circle shows up over here, and all of the listings show up in that area. Easy, easy. So I'm just going to click that X next to the word circle, and I'm going to go right over here to the rectangle, and here's my box again because I went over 1,000 results again, and I'm just going to click close on that. And rectangle is very similar to the circle, except for instead of you starting in the center, you're going to start at the top or bottom corner that you want to start at, and you're going to draw at catty corner. So for instance, here's how I'm going to go with this. I'm going to click it in the top left-hand corner that I want the rectangle to start at. I'm just left-clicking one time, letting go. And I'm just going to drag that rectangle to where I want it to stop, as you can see right there. I'm just going to left-click one time and let it go. And you'll see all of the listings are now going to show up in that rectangle. And see the word rectangle shows up over here on the left-hand side. Really easy to draw a rectangle and get it in there. So nice 2 choices there, circle and rectangle. Very easy to get all of the listings in a given area. So next is the polygon. And the polygon, the word actually means any shape. And every company that's making a software that you can use something to draw on the map has this word polygon in it. So you might as well get used to that word. So I am going to show you how to use the polygon feature. So I'm just going to click close again. And this time we're going to get in a little bit closer. So if I want to draw in this riverside area here, and I want to go around 17 and 10 and 95 and get it all the way around back up to Edgewood. So I am going to click on the polygon here, which is that trapezoid in the bottom right hand side here. And when I do that, you'll see the purple dot shows up at your cursor. So what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be drawing this roughly. Okay, you don't want to try to draw this perfectly the first time. The object here is to get it in the ballpark of the area you want it to be. And it's like connect the dots without the numbers being there. So I'm just going to start my polygon right here at Roosevelt and Edgewood, and I'm just going to click one time. And you can see now there's a line following my cursor around, and I'm just going to go to the next part. And you can only draw straight lines, so you're going straight line to straight line. So I'm going to go right down Highway 17 here up to 10. So I'm just going to go right up there to 10. I'm going to click it one time, left click one time, and then I'm going to go to where 17 and 95 meet here, and then I'm going to follow 95 out to the St. Johns River, and then I'm just going to go back over here to Edgewood. And then now I'm ready to stop it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click twice rapidly, so it's called double clicking. So I'm left clicking 2 times, so click click, and you'll see the polygon turns a light blue here, and you see the word polygon show up over here. Now, as you can see, I didn't get around Roosevelt Boulevard here the way I wanted, or around Highway 10 and 95. I just roughly put it up there because you don't want to try to do it perfect the first time. You just want to roughly get it on there so that you can edit it afterwards. And this is just to save your sanity. So I'm going to come over here to the word polygon, and I'm going to click on it one time, left click on it one time. And this dialog box will show up on your map here where it says polygon and it says edit. You're going to want to click on edit, and then you're going to want to click edit shape. and you see these orange dots will appear around the edge along with one orange dot in the center. The orange dot in the center is made so I can hold down the left mouse button and actually move the entire polygon if I would like to. But in this case, I'm happy with actually the location it's at, so I'm going to leave it there. But now I've got these dots that'll allow me to bend the lines where I'd like them to be. So let's say, for instance, this one is right here, and I want it to be down here. So I'm just going to hold down the left mouse button on it and drag it where I want it to be. And every time I move one of these, another orange dot will appear on either side. So I'm going to move this one, and you'll see two more appear, and I'm going to move that one, and two more appear. And I'll move this one, and two more appear. And so it allows me to get as finely detailed as I want along the map. So as you can see here, I'm going to just put this going around the highway just the way I'd like it to be. And I'm going to move this in and move that out. And instead of me trying to draw it perfectly the first time, I just am now getting it exactly where I want it to be without me having to do too much trouble here. Sometimes it might be helpful for you, and let's just get in a little bit closer here. You can see here that I'm on Edgewood, and you can see here I've got it along the highway, but I also have the ability to go from map to a satellite view as well. So I can actually switch it so I can see a satellite view and make sure if I'm going along a river or an intercoastal or something along those lines that I'm actually getting that line exactly where I want. So I'm not accidentally ruling out some properties that I don't want to rule out. You can switch that back just by clicking map right here. So once I've got this drawn exactly the way I want it drawn, this is my riverside map, if you will, I'm going to click down here in the bottom right hand corner where it says leave edit shape mode. So I'm just going to click leave edit shape mode, and now I'm back to having it just say polygon over here, and it goes right around what I want it to go around. So the other part of this that you need to remember is that after you've drawn this, if this is going to be something you're going to use on a regular basis, you're going to want to save this so you don't have to draw it again. I don't mind drawing polygons, but if it's the same thing over and over again, it kind of gets a little bit frustrating that you're going to have to go around this highway. So it's just time consuming. So if I know, for instance, this is going to be my riverside search going forward, I'm just going to go over here and click on the word polygon right here, and I'm going to click on edit again, and then I'm going to click save to map overlay. And when I click on save to map overlay, I can just give it a name. So I'm just going to call this riverside search, okay? And I'm gonna leave it in the polygon shape, and I'm just gonna click save. And so now this is saved, so forever, if I ever come back here, I can pull that up and have that boundary set up for me whenever I want. And it's located right here in the location box. So if I click in the location box here, you'll see that this comes up, but down here at the bottom, you'll see where I've got my other map overlay searches. And right now it's not showing because I have too many of them. So all I have to do is start typing Riverside, because that's what I named it, right? Polygon Riverside search. Very easy to find it. If I click on this, it'll bring it right back up, and I don't have to worry about having to redraw this map over and over and over again. So that's the easy way to get a polygon into the system saved so you don't have to draw them again. So we're moving on past the location box now, and we're going down to where it says status. So this is where the property is in the sales process. So right now, by default, it's going to be on active. And you can put it to contingent taking backup or the coming soon properties if you want. But if you would like more than one of those, you need to hold down the command key while you're clicking on those, or control key on a PC. So I'm going to hold down the control key because I'm on a PC, and I'm going to click on the contingent taking backup and the coming soon. And you can see now I am seeing all three of those statuses at one time inside that boundary of the Riverside one that I created earlier. There may be a time when you're looking for properties that are not active. For instance, if you're doing a CMA, you may be looking for properties that have been sold. And if I scroll this down on the right hand side, you can see I can just scroll this up and down. I'll click on sold, and you're going to see that I'm going to get a ridiculously large number. That is 3,645 listings that are coming up right now. And that's because I'm getting the solds from the beginning of time. What you want if you're doing a CMA is not the sold from the year 2000. You want solds that are probably within the last 6 months or within the last year. So right at the bottom of this box, it says see all selected date ranges. And you can click on sold date right here. Once I click on sold date, it's going to allow me to put dates into the boxes here. I can put a beginning and ending date. There's also another thing that you can do here. Right here on the left-hand side of those boxes, it looks like a little equal sign, but it's actually two arrows that point at each other. And what you want to do is you want to click on that, and that's going to give you where it says days back. And this is the easy button for going backwards in time. So I want to put in, say, a 6 here. And right now what it's going to show me is that there were 3 properties sold in the last 6 days. But if I click on the word days, it'll change to months. And so now I'm getting properties that were sold within the last 6 months, and that's the easy button here. And that way I don't have to worry about what is today's date, what was the date. I can just say 6 months back, as long as you don't care if it's from today back. If you need a different starting date, something other than today, then you need to use the beginning and ending date boxes. But if you just want 6 months back from the day you're looking today, you can just click on that and do 6 months back, or you can do 12 months back. But also remember, if I click on the word months, it will change to years. And so that would make it so I could just put a number 1 in this box and do 1 year back, or 2 years back, or 3. It's just really entirely up to you. If I click on years, it will change to back to days. So it will do days, months, and years. Okay? So we're going to switch back to active properties, but I just wanted you to see how that works. So in case you need to do something other than just active type properties, maybe you're looking for expireds, maybe you're looking for solds, and you can put a date range in here super easy just by clicking the hide date range or show all selected date ranges. Now, to go back to active, remember I have to uncheck this box. I need to uncheck this box because otherwise it would be looking for active properties sold within a date range, and that just doesn't exist. So I uncheck that box and I click it back to active. And once you click it back to active, I'll be seeing those 64 properties it was showing me before. So I'm just going to leave that the way it is. And I'm going to click hide date ranges. So now we've hidden those date ranges. I'm only looking at active properties that are on the system within my polygon area. Underneath that, now we can decide what type of residential property we're looking for, and that's what the subtype is. It's the subtype of residential property. So in my case, I'm looking for single family residence, and I'm gonna hold down the control key and do condominiums as well. So now I will be seeing both of those in my search results. After that, we have our minimum maximum boxes, and all of these work the same way. So we won't spend a whole lot of time on this, but basically you put in a minimum and then a maximum, minimum price and a maximum price, or minimum bedrooms, maximum bedroom. So we will use the example of bedrooms. So if somebody says that they want at least 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, let's just say they want at least 3 bedrooms, you just put in a minimum of 3 bedrooms, and then you will get, see now mine automatically changed. I've got 49 results because all of these properties have at least 3 bedrooms. If somebody says I want 3 or less bedrooms, then you would take that out of there and put in the maximum 3, and that's going to be a maximum of 3 bedrooms. So 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. If somebody says I only want exactly 3 bedrooms, no more, no less, then you would put it 3 and 3. So it would be 3 minimum, 3 maximum, and now I'm down to 35 results that have 3 bedrooms in the properties. And all of these minimum maximum boxes work the same way. The only caveat I would give you for this is if you're doing price. If you're doing price and somebody says, for instance, they have $250,000 to $300,000, you would always make sure that you put in a little extra on the high side, and that's because as the real estate agent, you need to see those properties, and this is not a fuzzy search. It's not going to show you anything. So if I put $300,000 in the maximum price, I wouldn't see a property that was 1 cent more than $300,000. So you need to make sure that you put a little extra in as the real estate agent so that you can see those properties and then make a determination that it is outside of their budget, but I still think they would like to see this property. Otherwise, as the real estate agent, you wouldn't have even seen that property. So a little caution with price, but just as long as you understand how the minimum and maximums work. So I'm just going to remove those in there just to get back to having the 63 listings that we had previously. After that, I've got a unit number, and then I've got waterfront. Remember, waterfront is defined in our MLS as water touches the property line. So if you are choosing a waterfront type property, that means that water touches the property line. If you are listing a property that you want to make waterfront, remember, it's not that the community is waterfront. It means that the property itself has a border that touches the water. Okay? Mobile manufacturer is yes or no. That's kind of self-explanatory, right? And then we have year built. So year built's a neat one to use. First of all, you can obviously do I only want a property that is no older than this. For instance, I only want a property that is past 1978 because of the lead paint thing. But also you may have somebody that says, I want to be a caretaker of a property. I'm only looking for properties that were built in the 30s and the 40s. So I could come in here and say, only give me houses that were at a minimum of 1929 and a maximum of 1939. And all of those houses would be built in the 30s and 40s. So easy way to rule that out. Okay, and then down here at the bottom, it's add a field to search. So this is the everything else field, where the green plus sign is. This is where I can add any other thing that I'm looking for that I haven't previously seen, because the stuff that we've looked at so far is kind of standard stuff, but that's certainly not enough. People are always going to ask you for other things or tell you that they don't want specific things as well, and I'm going to show you how that works. So in the add a field to search, let's say that, and I'm just clicking in here and you can see the list shows up where I can scroll through this. So if I didn't know what to type, I could just scroll through the list and try to find what I'm looking for. But let's say, for instance, people say that they would like an in-ground pool. So I can just come in here, click into here, type the word pool, and it's going to go through that list and find me everything with the word pool in it. And in my case, there's pool in-ground right there. And I'm just going to click it. And I'm going to close this field, and you notice that my number up here is still spinning, and that's because I have not clicked the box yet. I once got stuck here 20 minutes trying to figure out what I did wrong. And what I did wrong is I just added the field and didn't actually click the box. So I'm just going to click into that box right there, and now it's going to give me every property that has an in-ground pool. In this case, there were only 4 properties inside that polygon that had an in-ground pool. Now remember, I said the opposite can be true as well. So let's say that they told you they did not want an in-ground pool. So I have added pool in-ground, and right now it says this word right here. It says or. Okay, so or means yes in this circumstance, because this is what we call a binary, which means it's either yes or no. You either check the box or you don't check the box. You either want it or you don't want it. So in order for me to tell this it's a no, I need to click that word or, and it'll change to not. Okay, so now I have all of the properties that don't have an in-ground pool. If I click this again, it will change to and. And because, again, this is a binary, the and means yes as well. So and or in this circumstance would mean yes, and not means no. So I'm going to show you an example of how I can actually use and or to help me in my search, because right now what I'm getting is just pool or no pool, which is okay. But let's use and or for what they really mean, because we all know and or mean different things. So I'm going to uncheck that box so that we get all of the properties again. So I'm getting back up to the 63. And this time I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type the word kitchen, because people ask for stuff in kitchens, right? And you can see here it says kitchen, but underneath that it says breakfast bar, food prep, and things like that. And I can click on each one of those things individually. But since I want everything that's in the kitchen field, I'm just going to click on the word kitchen and bring the entire category into my search all at one time. So I'm just going to click on kitchen and see there, kitchen has shown up completely. So now, because it's all in the same field here, so it's this line and that line, everything in here is in the same field, I can use the and or. So if I have a customer that says they want a walk-in pantry, right? They want a walk-in pantry, and wow, we're already down to 6 properties. I'm going to click this to and they would like a food prep island or a cooking island. So now I'm down to 3 properties out of 63 in this area that have a walk-in pantry, they have a food prep island or a cooking island, but not both. So that's how you can use and or to help you in your search. Just remember, when you get very specific like I'm being right now, notice that my results went far down quickly. If you're listing the property, remember every single one of those checked boxes are potentially a criteria that somebody can search by. Even if it doesn't seem like it might be that important, it's certainly not a required field. If you can mark that yes or no, that is very, very helpful for somebody on the buyer side trying to search for a property. that's how we can add a lot of things to this. So just because I've added just these two so far doesn't mean I can't add more. So I could come in here, I could type in parking, for instance, and parking is a very large field, and I'll just click parking facilities, and see, it added all of everything that has to do with parking all at one time. So that's everything that has to do with adding criteria. Remember, you can add any criteria that's in the system to your search just by coming down to add a field of search, typing in what you're looking for, and adding it to your search. The last thing I want to tell you about today as far as this goes is, let's say that these things, the pull-in ground, the kitchen, and the parking facilities, are something that I use all the time, and I don't want to have to come in here every single time I do a search and type in pool and then type in parking, and just to get those fields that I use on a regular basis. What I really want is I want this to already be there when I start my search. So because I want this to be there when I start my search, all I have to do is get everything in here the way I want it. And right now, this is in here the way I want it. This would be my ideal residential search. It won't be your ideal residential search, but for example purposes, this is my ideal residential search. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right over here where it says save, and then I'm going to click Save Quick Search Template. And then I can just give this a name like Jeremy's Res Search. Okay, so Jeremy's Res Search. And then I'm just going to click Save. And so now that template's saved. So every time I come in here to search now, I can use that rather than the residential search, and it'll already have what I want. I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm going to click on the home button. This will take me out of that search. And I'm just going to go right back into quick search, and you can see it's on residential, which doesn't have anything in there that I need. So I am going to go right here where it says residential search and hit the drop down, and now there'll be one in here that says Jeremy's Res Search, and I'm just going to click on that instead. And now down here at the bottom, I've got my kitchen and pool and parking facilities, so I don't have to put them in every single time. And this is going to be different for each person because everybody's business is different. If you work at the beach, you're going to have different things. If you work on the river, you're going to have different things. And if you work out on the west side, everybody's going to have different things that they use on a regular basis. And this is a good way to set up your own searches. Also, you can have as many of these as you want. You don't have to just make one for residential and one for condo. You can have one for investors and one for that guy named Dave. Whatever you want to create, you can create. So this is a nice way to save those things. And also, if I wanted to go back to that Riverside search that I created earlier, I just come in here, I type in river, started typing Riverside, and right here at the bottom, Riverside search, polygon, and I just double click that and it says polygon over there, and now there's that same polygon that I drew earlier, so that you see that I didn't have to redraw that as well.
So Quick Search is an awesome tool, easy to use, going to be a great search engine for the future. Make sure that you incorporate map searching in it, and you incorporate some of the other features that I showed you during the video. You guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.